the fuck? You tapped into some genuine emotions there, and I think we can all relate to what you're saying. You can?
Sure we can. It really doesn't suck that you had the courage to say this sucks.
We're hearing you loud and clear, brother.
Sadly is another day I get to live. What are you smiling for? Oh yeah, that's right. Your drugs. So let me guess, the competition stiffed you again?
I gave her a $20 bill.
For what?
For anything. I don't care. Whatever it's for, but she can give me my money back.
Okay, were you planning to buy some drugs
Yes, I
or something?
was.
What kind of drugs were you wanting to buy?
Salt.
And now you're turning back to me because luckily I'm still alive and you have a little bit of money in your hands. Absolutely no shame.
What? Would you rather I go out and rob some elderly person? Steal? Either way, I'm gonna get high.
Well, whatever. I'm gonna collect every single penny you give me, and then eventually I'm gonna get out of this goddamn hole, and I'll use my money to open up a bread shop, and then you'll see. It'll no longer be for Tanga Plays, it'll be for Tanga Bakes, and you'll never find me. Well, I mean, now you will, since I told you what I plan on doing. Anyways, here's some pure Twitter autism.
Just do it! Just f***ing do it! No!
I wish Microsoft charged me $10 more to play on my Xbox Series X, put 2-hour demos exclusively behind a paywall, and made the 360 library streaming only. That would be amazing and super pro-consumer.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Destin, alright, that's an IGN guy, so I don't really give two shits. I know that sounds kinda douchey, but I'm a cold-blooded son of a bitch. But at the same time, this isn't even comparable to the worst takes I've heard from IGN. So I'm sitting here thinking, what's wrong with this tweet? How does it correlate to anything? Well, apparently this all started when legendary Xbox fanboy turned PlayStation fanboy, MPG, posted a tweet cucking for Sony in a move that is easily going to land him in the #1 spot for Corporate Slave of the Year.
If this new report about Sony offering 2-hour trials on every game priced at $34 or higher on the PS Store for PS Premium is true, that is ridiculously pro-consumer and truly an insane value.
Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline.
There's no punchline. It's not a joke.
Well, it's all starting to come together now. Destin's tweet was a direct diss at this stupid tweet by MPG. What happened to the tweet again? How brave. This is typical behavior from MPG. Post something that catches the attention of several accounts, gets ratioed to oblivion, and deletes the posts before his ego is further bruised. But I mean, let's be real. I mean, who wouldn't want a chance to bruise up MPG? Don't lie to me. You know you want a few punts in. Sadly, there is no known cure for simps. The only treatment is a good beatdown. And if you're a corporate simp, it's even worse. And believe me, MPG, it's for your own good. Somebody has to make you realize that the idea of Sony charging you a subscription fee to have access to demos is not pro-consumer. I mean, unless pro-consumerism is subjective, and MPG considers being charged for demos to be in his favor, then we do indeed need to help this man. You see, instead of having a basic refund policy system like Steam or Xbox, or like nearly every other digital distributor, where you can buy a game, try it out for a bit, don't like it, completely refund it in under 2 hours worth of playtime. I mean, obviously it'd be ideal if every single piece of digital media out there gave you some sort of demo, but this is as good as it gets. And keep in mind, this is only specifically for games above $34. So you're basically given a limited selection, and chances are a lot of it will be irrelevant to you, to the point that you begin to wonder, what the fuck am I even paying for? And according to Sony, they're going to enforce it. So all developers who decide to make anything above $34 are now obligated to make at least a 2-hour-long trial of any game they make. And they will only be available up to 1 year. And the best part is that it's only available at the highest tier.
We fuck you up
man. We takes the money.
This perk makes no goddamn sense. Its existence is only there to justify the $18 price tag. Who in their right mind is taking a look at this minuscule perk at the highest tier and thinking to themselves, oh, that's so pro-consumer? Well, apparently MPG and the hundreds of simps behind them.
Xbox actually made games anyone gave a damn about, but instead we got cheap Game Pass games no one actually would care to pay for to begin with. But thanks for being pro-consumer, Xbox. I wish Sony released a console with no next-gen games that consistently loses multi-plat performance comparisons despite having better specs on paper, with the same UI and controller as last gen, and a subscription service with 80% filler and 15% old games.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go.
Xbox should try making some first-party games for this year, since they are doing almost everything else correct you've listed here. They would be pro-consumer too. You're funny, but until Microsoft or Xbox can't offer blockbuster titles the quality Sony produces for PlayStation, then Xbox simply isn't catching up.
Talk about some serious deflection. Nobody's talking about exclusives. Nobody's talking about hardware. Nobody's talking about performance. And yet all that gets brought into a discussion about a subscription service. This is the typical behavior you will get from PlayStation fanboys. But think about the exclusives. The Last of Us 2, Game of the Year. Yeah, that's nice and all, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the subject at hand. Nobody is talking about Microsoft competing with Sony's first-party titles. Nobody's talking about Microsoft catching up to Sony's sales. But that's all they can bring up when it comes to valid criticisms levied towards Sony. At this point, I legitimately believe Sony could launch global nuclear war, and the ponies would stand by and say, yeah, well, you know, they make good games. What can I do about it? Plus, Xbox got no games. No games? Yeah, well, we don't have any country to stand on anymore. Thanks, Sony. You know what's funny? They can't even say, despite this anti-consumer move from Sony, I still enjoy their products. I mean, it's still absolute simp behavior, but far less than getting overly defensive for their precious PlayStation queen, who takes their money and grants them the privilege of kissing her feet.
About the Sony stuff, yeah, it sucks.
Oh, thank God, I found one. See, they do exist. PlayStation guys that can at least admit it sucks.
But at least there's an option, even though you're paying for it. On the Microsoft side, there's no option to buy a game that's actually on a disc. There's zero options for real ownership.
Son, have you used drugs in the last 48 hours?
No, goddammit, we were so goddamn close. We were so close. Why did you have to finish it off with the stupid? Why couldn't you just say, yeah, it sucks? Now I'm questioning how much you actually know about video games in general. But to be fair, I should be questioning myself. That was a lot of mushrooms I took last month. Maybe all those boxed Xbox games I saw at Walmart weren't real, who knows? All I do know is that it's Microsoft, so I'm pretty sure it's not free.
You can't be the victim when PlayStation fanboy attack you when you post console war things like that. You got mad at me because I was poking fun at Paris and getting freebie/yellow chair gang. You said that wasn't a good look, Chris. That's not a good look, Destin.
I will continue screaming. Would you like that? Because I'm actually finding it really, really relaxing.
Well, why don't you explain to me why what I'm doing is wrong?
I'm just having so much trouble wrapping my head around the idea that somebody could take such personal offense for a corporation. Don't you dare try and climb your way out of this one, Destin. You really did it this time. You compared those two services. Now prepare for our Legion of Doom. Nobody gets away with even the smallest of criticism. You know, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Destin was intentionally making these tweets to provoke a few ponies. But in this case, I know he wasn't. He was just making fun of MBG's original post.
Does Game Pass offer any form of trial for all third-party games? Oh, they don't? But Sony will offer trials for all of them above 34. Yup, you just can't go one day without looking like a clown. LMFAO.
Is he seriously asking if Xbox provides trials of all third-party games, while also mentioning that PlayStation is only providing you trials of games over $34? Are people forgetting games are priced at every single range? Not including games below $34 is not all games. And why would anybody give Sony $18 a month to do that when they can literally just goddamn buy the game and refund it if they don't like it? It's already a subscription service with rentals. Game trials doesn't make any goddamn sense. This is basically the equivalent of paying to see a trailer. At this point, I can't tell who failed them, the education system or their parents.
You're complaining about game trials being behind a paywall on PlayStation, but Xbox doesn't even offer game trials.
There's a whole section in the Xbox store for demos as well as the Xbox Preview program, which comes with trials to each of those games and the opportunity to opt into them early in their development cycle. Maybe look and know before opening your mouth. Also, not charged for.
Game trials aren't the same as demos. A demo is a curated section of a game. A game trial is the full game that you can play until the time is up. You're talking about individual curated demos on Xbox, whereas this is a store-wide 2-hour trials of every game above $34.
What? I'm going back in the oven.
Are you really trying to convince everyone here that a 2-hour game trial is not the same thing as a demo? I mean, if you want to argue the semantics of it for the sake of it, go ahead. I'm not going to participate in it. All I'm going to say is that I don't think Microsoft needs to charge anybody $18 a month to have access to a limited selection of game trials. It would completely defeat the purpose of their subscription service anyway. Why would anybody do that when they can get the full game downloaded on Game Pass from beginning to end? By far one of the worst gotcha attempts I have ever seen on Twitter.
Homeboy has issues with games costing $70, but apparently a handwritten postcard is worth $50 a month. Bro, I'm so done with these Xbox influencers. Absolutely terrible group, bro, for real. Maybe he shouldn't have things locked behind a paywall. Content behind a paywall is only okay if Destin does it. Those guys paying Destin should follow his advice and demand he give it for free. He clearly hates paywalls. Guy is a hypocrite.
Why are ponies like this? Why are they so unique to the gene pool of console fanboys? Apparently Destin has YouTube tiers, you know, like most YouTubers do. And apparently 2 of those tiers are absolute jokes. I mean, no, literally, they're jokes. $49.99, you are crazy. $99.99, I don't deserve you. But obviously the PlayStation fanboys gotta use this as ammunition, because I guess this somehow invalidates everything Destin said. I guess paying for demos is pro-consumer, cloud saves being locked behind a subscription are good, and this is great value. Because I mean, obviously Destin is the exact same thing as a multi-billion-dollar corporation, so I guess we have to hold them up to the same standards or some shit. I guess we're suddenly supposed to forget the fact that PlayStation fanboys were the ones that used to ridicule Game Pass subscribers as people who paid for demos. But now it's pro-consumer. Paying for demos is pro-consumer, but paying for access to hundreds of games that you can actually play is evil and a potential monopoly. See, these are the things they don't want you to bring up or remember. That's why they deflect. A common tactic I've noticed from the PlayStation cultists. They'll do whatever they can to make it about the person making the tweet versus what the person said. Anything they can do to maneuver around some basic ass criticism of PlayStation. I mean, they wouldn't want to look weak in front of their squad. That, or at this point, I'm pretty sure they're just too intimidated to say anything critical about Sony because these guys are their only friends and they don't want them to turn on them. I have seen these dudes eat each other alive over someone just not towing the company line for one moment. By popular request, I've added a new membership tier on my YouTube. Find out more. My God, Destin, stop! Stop, you've done enough to trigger them. Updating your perks to include a 2-minute demo of the videos that are already free. Masterclass trolling. Holy shit.
The comparison makes no sense. Video games aren't free. Offering a couple thousand trials, not demos. those are two different things as part of their service works because it's a bonus service being provided to trail out games that cost money, not free YouTube videos. You really crave that attention, huh?
Much like logic, it would seem a sense of humor is also a dying breed on the internet. You can really tell which ones are truly invested in all of this nonsense. When a formal professional person like Destin is getting the ponies this triggered with some of the most lighthearted trolling I have ever seen, I couldn't imagine what would happen if he chose actual violence. At that point, ponies will probably start calling his work, reporting to IGN, trying to get him canceled. Nothing is beneath them. I warned the act man. I don't want to have to warn you as well. And as for you guys, I'm gonna warn you, don't drive after that heavy dose of salt. Get home safe. I need more money to keep this operation going. And with that being said, I hope you like, comment, share, subscribe if you so choose to, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.
Free Congo sucks ass.